In a world where the news gets twisted, Jon and Tom stand tall, never wished it. MAGA hats on, they take the stage. With laughter and facts, they break the cage. Unsanctioned voices fearless and bold, turning the tide, watch the truth unfold. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. Oh, debating the nonsense of the woke parade. With every punchline, conservative trade, they tackle the issues with humor and wit. In Unsanctioned America, they won't quit. So tune in tight, let the laughter ignite, as Jon and Tom clash through the political night. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. So tune in tight, let the laughter ignite, as Jon and Tom clash through the political night. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. Oh, together they rise, wear their pride like a crown. In Unsanctioned America, never backing down. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. Oh, shining light.
Confident that when you go back and as a senior member of this administration, President Trump's administration, starting in the afternoon of the 20th of January of 2025, do you feel confident that you will be able to deliver the goods, that we can have serious prosecutions and accountability? And I want the Morning Joe producers that watch us and all the producers that watch us, this is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. We're not. You cannot have a constitutional republic and allow what these deep staters have done to the country. The deep state, the administrative state, the fourth branch of government never mentioned in the Constitution, is going to be taken apart brick by brick. And the people that did these evil deeds will be held accountable and prosecuted, criminal prosecutions. Kash, I know you're probably going to be head of the CIA, but do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order of the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators, because we're actually going to use the Constitution to prosecute them for crimes they said we have always been guilty of, but never have.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
People of Canada, the Great White North, as they call it, except it's not so great anymore, is it? I call it the Great Sad North because that's what it is, sad. On January 20th, I will be slapping huge tariffs on all products coming from your country. The economic consequences will be devastating, but they don't have to be. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was just with me at Mar-a-Lago, and I suggested that I would make Canada the 51st state. It's called Manifest Destiny, and it's happening whether you hosers like it or not. You should have never let us get Alaska. That was your first mistake. Makes no sense that you have to drive through Canada to get to America. Not any longer. There are a lot of great benefits to joining America. We have a great military, the greatest in the world. You'll be able to move from those awful cold shitholes you live in to warm shitholes. Quebec will no longer be a thing. You don't like it, you can all move to France. All Tim Hortons will now become Dunkin' Donuts. Curling will be banned. It's a ridiculous sport, if you can even call it that. As for your precious ice hockey, this will be the hardest part to deal with. But who said there wouldn't be growing pains? The American and Canadian national teams will merge. Say goodbye to your silly little Leaf. Say hello to Stars and Stripes and Bald Eagles. Also for all those celebrities that moved to Canada because I one sucks to be you.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe and follow for more.
I'm Donald Trump.
You know, it's scary what AI can do, John. It truly is. Props to @DannyJokes on X, and that's where that video came from. He created that, and it is amazing. I mean, I was fooled at first, you know what I mean, until I heard some of the things coming out of President Trump's mouth, and then I was like, nah, this is AI. That's not him.
Well, I mean, he pretty much did tell him that, which we're going to talk about later.
Yeah,
welcome to another welcome to another episode of Unsanctioned America. This is episode 252, December 5, 2024. Really coming up to the end of the year here, and we have such high expectations for a Trump administration. People are still doing the dance everywhere you go. I see people wearing the MAGA hats everywhere. I was at my kid's school today, and people were wearing MAGA hats. I had forgotten mine. I didn't drive actually there, so I forgot mine in my own car. But I mean, people are happy. That's why they're putting this stuff out. This is no longer campaigning. So nobody's making money now. Nobody's working for this. This is all people of their own just being excited about a presidency. I'm not sure that we could have gotten a better Christmas present than Donald Trump for the country.
Absolutely.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about all the stuff that's going on here towards the end of the year. It just continues to get crazy and more crazy and more crazy. Let me pull up here the stories that we're going to go through. So we saw Kash saying that he's going to deliver on the America First dream that we all have. We want justice, and he says he's going to deliver. He, of course, did not become director of the CIA. They're putting him in for the FBI. More power to him. We're going to talk about the FBI a little bit. Move over Puerto Rico. Is Canada 51? We'll see. We're going to talk about that. FBI hemorrhaging support from Americans after January 6th. Hunter celebrates daddy's move to clear his record before it's even known. And we're going to talk about Biden's crime bill aging poorly. Yeah. Fauci, the devil, and others considered for pardon by Joe Biden. Somebody get their grandpa in Africa. RFK Jr. exposes flu shot dangers. Maricopa County election shenanigans never end. Dems plead their case in Michigan. I mean, man, this is a lot, right? We're going to do it quickly. Trump to allow local sheriffs ability to raid for immigration. Big story. Trump ran on immigration in 2016, won largely on immigration in 2016. Immigration then went out of control. Everything that Donald Trump said came true, including immigration. And now immigration is one of the reasons that he's back in the White House. Transgender lawyer says that 2-year-olds should decide when they change their gender or get sterilized. No. New York's Adams dares the left to cancel him after trying to fix immigration in his city. And more on this episode of Unsanctioned Florida with Tom and John. I'm former school board member John Arguello, my great friend over here, citizen Tom Lord. And this is episode 252, Unsanctioned America, December 5, 2024. We're going to do a quick prayer, and then we're going to get into the show. Lord, we are truly grateful. These are happy stories that we're telling. stories that we believe are going to turn around. So they may not sound great now, but we know that with your guidance that Trump is going to fix these issues. He's certainly going to attempt to, and we are looking forward to it. We're looking forward to living in a country that is full of justice and truth and transparency and service by government leaders, not the corruption that they've become known for. And we really hope that we continue to have Americans have such a positive outlook and spirit about this election outcome and where our country is going. So keep everybody in, Lord. We surrender our lives to you. We submit to your will, and we look forward to all the blessings that you bestow upon us this year. And we're grateful for the ones that you bestow upon us through this year. In your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's get down to it.
All right, let's do some news. Yeah, like you had said, John, these comments, that video that we watched earlier by Danny Jokes was in reference to this dinner that Justin Trudeau had at Mar-a-Lago with President-elect Trump. It's just funny to me that they're all going to kiss the ring, John. Everybody who had all the crap to talk about President Trump, Trudeau, the morning schmo, they're all going there to go kiss the ring. They're all scared. They should be. The President Trump reportedly told Justin Trudeau that if his tariffs destroyed Canada, the country should become the 51st state, and Trudeau could be the governor. Here is the story.
Can you imagine
We're getting
that dinner?
some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Right.
But more on that detail with the panel. Peter, thank you.
Look how he smiles. First of all, everybody laughed. That is okay. Look, this is Trump winning before he even gets out of bed in the morning. You know what Trudeau is going to be thinking for the next 6 months is this dinner that he just had with Trump. Maybe you should become a piece of the United States. So this is basically like this may be a crude way to state it, but men comparing men, right? One man comparing himself to another through the most basic way. And that's what he did to Trudeau, just to let Trudeau that he was the man at the table and Trudeau is his guest, his lady friend even at the table. This is no joke. He laid down the law with him. I'm going to say, okay, now I don't care if it's funny. I don't care if it's uncouth what he said. It needed to be said, and the United States needed somebody advocating for us for the first time. I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never seen somebody so outwardly, strongly, so vigorously advocate on behalf of the United States. I just have not seen it. I can't recall. Maybe I'm going to start lurching. I'm going to start searching for another time where they have. Maybe Ronald Reagan, right? When when we were fighting against communism during the Cold War, I remember that a little bit maybe. But other than Trump, I've never seen a president just outwardly, publicly, shamelessly, without shame, no embarrassment. There's no shame in his game, right? No. And for good reason, advocating hard for the United States. And that's exactly what I wanted. So he's showing us the president that he's going to be. And that's what we wanted. That's why he won. We wanted that, right? I don't care. If he would have tweeted that, this is when leftists go out of control, right? If he would have tweeted, hey, if Canada can't afford to survive without ripping off the United States, maybe they should become the 51st state. Hashtag, sorry, Puerto Rico. Then it's like, okay, well, oh my God, that tweet. Go to hell. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can pretend that you're outraged. I love it. I think it's great. Trump is just living up to the expectation at this point in time.
Absolutely. I can't remember another president that advocated so hard for the United States either, John. It is President Trump, and this is what the American people wanted. This is why everyone voted for President Trump this time around. They were tired of what we were getting out of the Biden administration. We wanted something different. We wanted to put America first, our economy first, our lives first, and that's with President Trump. So,
100%.
You know, John, the FBI, you know, we talked about Kash Patel, and it was said today that John Cornyn is saying that, yes, Kash Patel will be confirmed as the FBI director. So let's see. I'm hoping. I mean, that's from the Senate Majority Leader there. He's saying it's going to happen. And that it couldn't happen at a better time, John. You know, but CNN seems surprised that trust in the FBI has plunged following J6. I mean, look at this. This is crazy.
The views
Are
of the
you
American
kidding?
public evolved or changed or not over the years?
Yeah, look, I think Patel has real reason to believe that Americans would go along with changes that he might potentially make at the FBI, and there's a reason why Donald Trump feels like he can make this change. It's because if you look here, FBI is doing an excellent or good job. Look at this time trend line. You go back to 2014, right? It was 59% of Americans, then 57% in 2019, 50% in 2022. Look at where we are today. My goodness gracious, just 41% of Americans think the FBI is doing an excellent or good job. That is by far the lowest number this century. The bottom line is, during the Trump administration, obviously there were the investigations into Donald Trump. You saw a little bit of drop then, and then post January 6th, look at that drop, 50%, now 41%. My goodness gracious, Kate Baldwin.
I think one thing about this, hard to gauge, right? I'll call it a chicken or an egg kind of question. Is the view declining because is it from bottom up or top down? Is it because people are talking trash about the FBI more and more, or because Americans' views of distrust of the agency are growing? It's hard. That is hard to know. But I throw that out there by asking then, how does it break down along party lines?
Yeah, take a look at Republicans. Here we go. Look at this drop. If you
Oh, geez.
yeah. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. That's a very good word, Kate Baldwin. If you look,
2 words.
It's 2 words. The G's was what I was going for. G's Louise. There's 2 words right there. Among Republicans, is the FBI doing an excellent or good job? This is where you really see the drop-off. You go back to 2014. I'm going to come to your side of the screen. It was 62%. 2019, look at that, 46%. 2022, 29%. Now we're tied for the lowest point at this century among Republicans at 26%. That is a drop of more than half since 2014. So again, you saw some of that drop during the Trump administration. You know, obviously he replaced James Comey, and then you see it really after January 6th, 29%, and now 26%. That is a tremendous, tremendous drop-off among Republicans.
So let's remember.
Yeah, and you have to ask yourself why, right? But we know why. We know exactly why. We know exactly why. Yes, J6 has a lot to do with it, but look at all the things that came before J6. You had the Russian hoax. You had the Hunter Biden laptop where 51 intelligence agents signed off and said it was Russian disinformation, and we know that was a lie. The trust in the FBI is at an all-time low because of the FBI. The raid that they did at Mar-a-Lago when they went after Roger Stone. There's so many examples that you can point to as to why the trust in the FBI is as low as it is right now. But with Kash Patel coming back, and it looks like we lost John, I don't know how or why, but hopefully he's going to be coming back in a minute. But with Kash Patel coming on board with the FBI, I'm expecting that we're going to see a much different FBI. And hopefully he's going to do what he said he's going to do and go after these government gangsters, as he likes to call them, and make them, serve some justice. I'm trying to find what happened to John. He just kind of fell off. Anyway, I'll try and bring him back. But yes, very excited that Kash Patel is coming in. And let me see. Where are you? What happened? ? Real-time show issues here, folks. Anyway, I'm going to move on with the story while we try and get John back on here. Next up, we have this, which is Joe Biden officially pardoning his son, Hunter. which is crazy because this comes after Biden and the White House lied countless times, saying they would never pardon his son. And if you don't believe me, watch this and you'll see for yourself.
When would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay. Let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
You've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
It's a no. It's a no. Hey, John's back, and we just played the Hunter video with Karine Jean-Pierre saying at least 5 times that they were not going to pardon Hunter Biden. But sure enough, here it is. They are running scared, John, and this is why he went ahead and pardoned his son. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. They're running scared. They're terrified. The problem is that they had no good option here. And Joe Biden, though, if the one thing he is not, it's wise. So he pardoned him. He went back 11 years to pardon him for everything, right? Everything from 11 years until I think it was December 1st. And first of all, on December 2nd, he was probably smoking crack. Yeah. So all they got to do is watch him. All they got to do is watch him, and they'll hem him back up again. But also, he maybe have removed the opportunity to plead the fifth. So he might be able to implicate his family. And I'm pretty sure, if I had to speculate, I would bet on Hunter giving up his dad or his uncle or anybody else for his own freedom. And he just seems like that type of guy.
Absolutely.
He always chooses himself.
John. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's his identity, right? That's his identity. Some Dems are transgender and others are real bastards, and he's a real bastard. So, he would absolutely give up his. I mean, the guy gave up his daughter, for God's sakes. All joking aside, this is the kind of guy he is, and he would sell anyone else out in the world for his own instant gratification.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, he wouldn't even claim his own daughter, and neither would President Biden there. But it's funny, John, that we talk about this, that he is pardoning his son after authoring the 1994 crime bill, which imprisoned millions of Americans for doing what his son is doing right here in this video, John, that we're about to watch.
You have a piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law with the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes, the government can take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you've just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail.
Agreed.
Away from my mother, your husband, our families. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
Agreed.
Man,
we're with you, Joe.
Changed, right?
We're with you, Joe. We're with you. Man, put Hunter away. Don't ask him what made him get like that.
Yeah. It's funny that he's talking like that, and you can go back and watch Democrats from that time, from the 90s, the early 2000s.
They almost seem normal.
They sound just as MAGA as me and you. And you know, something along the line changed. It changed really bad, and now we have this woke culture, and I think that's most of what we're seeing is that woke culture invading, and it's being rejected soundly by the American people, and I think that's why you saw this landslide win for President Trump. But like I had said, John, earlier, they are running scared. They're all running scared. Even Fauci, because this Politico report is saying that the White House may pardon Dr. Anthony Fauci to protect him from future federal prosecution. This is the blurb that's cut out from that story. It says, also mentioned by Biden's aides for a pardon is Anthony Fauci, former head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, who became a lightning rod for criticism from the right during the COVID-19 pandemic, and rightfully so. And Fauci should be worried, especially he's going out there writing a paper criticizing Trump on coronavirus and promoting the natural origin theory again, which is a complete embarrassment. It's just crazy. Just crazy, John.
I would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if he got pardoned. I would be shocked if Fauci did not end up in jail. Fauci's policies led to so much damage on so many American families. I think that Fauci, if I were Fauci, I would have left to China already, right? Like, he should be in China, just like any of those defectors from the United States Army during the Korean War. I mean, he needs to go and leave the country because we all know what he is, and he needs a pardon in order to stay out of jail. That goes without saying. That was gross negligence on a massive scale. It led to death. It led to pain. It led to suffering. It led to economic disaster. It just destroyed so many people on so many different levels, and he needs to be prosecuted and put in jail.
Absolutely. And if you haven't already taken the time to read the real Anthony Fauci, you should. Know who this man is and all the things that this man has done. This man should be in jail. There's no doubt about it. He knows it. He knows it. And Biden knows it too. That's why they're considering pardoning him. But would you know that over on Polymarket, the odds of him being pardoned have skyrocketed since this Political report? And here it is, John. Here's Polymarket says 43% chance.
No,
I think it's much higher than that, right, John?
Yeah, it's much higher than that. I mean, what are the chances that Hunter Biden? That's the percentage of chance that Hunter Biden is smoking crack at this moment right now. Okay, that's what that percentage is. The percentage chance that Biden gives Fauci a pardon is probably closer to 70 or 80%. And that's depending on whether Fauci is going to write them a check or not, because that's all they care about. The Bidens are all about money and power. They're about to lose power. They can still collect money on this pardon. And if he's not going to write a check, they're probably not going to, he may not pardon them. But I guarantee he's going to write that check because the American people are waiting. They're salivating at the opportunity to see him punished for what he did to American families.
Absolutely. Absolutely, John. Well, Biden, we don't
legally, I want to point that out, as Kash said. Yes, legally, nobody's looking. Yes. And you know what? And if he goes away free because he's got a great lawyer, right? Like a great lawyer, then okay, fine. You know, I mean, that's fine. Nobody wants to see anything illegal happen. Nobody wants to see any violence perpetrated upon anyone. What we want to see is justice, truth, and transparency. That's what we want.
Absolutely. Well, I guess he's not going to get that pardon right now because Biden is over in Africa and he's getting ushered around like a child in Angola. After being led around, Biden was seen staring outward as Angola President João Lourenço tried giving him a handshake. Look at this, John.
I mean, he keeps him from falling down. Watch out. Hey, watch out. Okay.
You know, this is such an embarrassment.
It's embarrassing.
And
there we go. It's embarrassing. There you go.
All these world leaders realize that this man is not there. He's not all there. how they take us seriously after this or during this. I mean, after this, of course, they're going to take us seriously because we're going to have President Trump, and they take him seriously. But this whole 4 years of Joe Biden, the man has not been there the whole time. And the media tried to convince us that he was. His vice president, Kamala Harris, tried to convince us that he was. Other Democrat leaders tried to convince us that he was sharp as a tack. But the whole time, he has been like this.
Tacky, she said. Tacky, not tack.
He has been like this the whole time. And it's no wonder that we have the problems in the world that we have right now. Russia, Ukraine, the problems in the Middle East. They're not afraid of this man. They know he's not truly the one controlling things. And,
they're in control with him.
Yeah,
they're in control with him. They know that. And they have nothing, absolutely nothing to worry about with Joe Biden. No. All they got to do is figure out what they want from him, right. And they'll get it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's absolutely sad. It's ridiculous. It really
Zelensky
is.
sure knows what to do with Biden there. He's been getting everything.
I don't know what he's doing, but yeah. Well, I mean, I think that they were laundering money to the tunes of billions of dollars. And yeah, so he's gonna. I mean, I don't know. I think he needs to be prosecuted too. I mean, for international crimes.
Yeah, and definitely no more money over there. No more money over there. All right, John, let's take a trip across the nation. All right, John. So it's that time of year. Flu season. These pharmacies, and believe me, I worked in retail pharmaceuticals for 15 years. The flu shot is big money for CVS, for Walgreens, for all these retail pharmacies. Even your doctor, your local doctor and doctor's offices, they are pushing this flu shot every time you go. And it's big money for them. But here is RFK Jr., and he's here to tell you what the CDC doesn't tell you about this flu shot.
In a million years, I would not take the flu shot. And I'll tell you why, because this is what Cochrane and BMJ have found. People who take the flu shot are protected against that strain of flu. They're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that they get the flu shot and then they get sick. They're usually not getting the flu. They're getting something that is indistinguishable from the flu because the flu shot gives you something called pathogenic priming. It injures your immune system so that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. In fact, the Pentagon published a story, and you can cite this, it's by Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, in January of this year, in which they said that the flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for coronavirus. If you they gave flu, they had a placebo group, and they had a vaccine group because they wanted for military readiness to see if the flu shot was prophylactic against coronavirus. What they found is actually the people who got the flu shot were 36% more likely to get coronavirus. And that's not a lone study. We found 6 other major studies that say the same thing. If you get the flu shot, you're more likely to get coronavirus. Look, all you have to do, Alan, and this is what Cochrane said, is look what's happened to longevity in the elderly since we started mandating the flu shot to elderly people. Those are the people who, their life expectancy has dramatically gone down as the flu shot proliferated. And if you see, the people who died during the COVID during the COVID crisis, many, and there's no science on this, but it's observational, it tended to be people who got their flu shots, people who are in nursing home who all get flu shots, people who are first responders who get flu shots.
And John, I can't tell you how many times working in that pharmacy that I would hear people that just got their flu shot come back into the pharmacy and say that they got sick and they feel like they got sick right after they got that flu shot. So this doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
Not in the least. Yeah. I mean, people talk about it all the time. And they question, oh, did I do it too soon? Did I take it too late or whatever? Yeah. I think that we all know that we can't, the bottom line is we can't trust the world of medicine anymore because their intentions are not to keep us healthy.
right.
And if we can't trust them, then it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a vaccine. It can be something perfectly good, right? Now they've destroyed their reputation and their credibility to the extent that we can't even trust what they say. We can't. Your studies. You're going to tell me that a study points that this is good for me, but it doesn't matter whether it's cancer medication or vaccines for our children at birth or anything. We just can't trust what they say because they're not trying to make us healthier. They lied about food. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, all the regulatory agencies lied about food. They lied about medicine. They lied about health. And I mean, I think it should go the way of the Department of Education. And what we should do instead is have a law that makes you completely and totally liable for damage your products have upon people. So if you sell sugary cereals and somebody can prove to a jury that creates a unhealthy child, then allow them to sue it. Allow them to sue. Yeah. And if we do that, then maybe we would be in a better position because these companies they're basically living and profiting without any liability or care for results of their product upon the American people. I mean, look, in Europe, the dyes have to be natural. Here, it can be something that causes cancer.
Yeah.
And that's just not right.
No, it's not, John. And that's the thing. Like I said, when I was working in these pharmacies, it really dawned on me when they started not just pushing the flu shot, but pushing all other kinds of vaccinations. And it started when they gave the pharmacists the ability to do these shots. But not only that, but they started training the pharmacy technicians to be able to administer these vaccinations so that they could make more money giving out more of these vaccinations. It's just incredible
Wow.
to me. I don't trust it. I don't think I ever will again in my life. I believe that natural immunity and building that natural immunity is so important to your own personal health. I would never take another flu shot or any of those vaccinations. They can stick them where the sun don't shine. But anyway. All right, John. So over in Arizona, Maricopa County election workers stealing a security access key. This footage just got released, John. All voting machines and equipment had to be reprogrammed because of the stolen items gave access to everything, John. Look at this.
A temporary employee stole security fobs to county election equipment at the Maricopa County Tabulation Election Center. This is video of that. This is in downtown Phoenix. Maricopa County Sheriff's deputies arrested Walter Ringfield and charged him with theft. On June 21st, county election officials tasked him with cleaning tabulation equipment where he was, as you see here, caught on camera, stealing those fobs. It's not clear what he planned to do with them.
Yeah, it's not clear what he planned to do with it, John, but he looks like a real prize to begin with, and you have him around these keys, these ski fobs, and of course he steals it, and we don't know what he was going to do with it, though, John.
Yeah, I mean, China's got a new USB stick. I mean, this is ridiculous. How the hell does this happen? Why is this happening in America? I don't even know if that was actually stolen. I wouldn't. It's just such a strange set of circumstances. Why would he steal that? You got to go. You got to go into this guy's background and find out what connection he may have to get that job and know that that's something that he should steal and then steal it. He's stealing a USB, a security USB, a dongle from a machine that gives you security access to the election machines. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
This guy is not petty theft.
No. And knowing what we know about Arizona and the shenanigans that go on there around the elections and the questions that most folks have about elections that happen in Arizona, makes you wonder, John. It really does. It really does. Anyway,
I mean, it wonder a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Over in Michigan, John, they're not handling it very well, the election of President Trump. Democrats held a primal scream event at Lake Michigan. Watch this.
Going round and round and round.
This is the governor's cabinet, I think. Come on now. I mean, is it all? Oh, I love it.
We definitely have a mental health crisis going on in the United States of America. There's more proof of it right there. God help those people, and let's open those institutions, John. Over in Ohio, Sheriff Richard Jones of Butler County is announcing that President Trump will grant sheriffs the power to raid workplaces to arrest and deport illegal migrant workers. Listen to this.
Go to the workplace and enforce immigration laws. We had it once before, but this president took it all away from all the sheriffs across the country. We housed prisoners here. There's two 287Gs, one to hold prisoners, one to go out and enforce immigration laws. We were trained, we had the certification, and President Biden's administration took it all away from us. We're going to get that back. We've been in contact with ICE. So it gives us the authority to go out into the community, to go to the workplace, enforce these laws, and help the federal government do their job. And we're happy. We're getting geared up. We're making jail space available. And one thing I know about illegal immigration, I've been doing this 20 years, is when you start going out and enforcing and apprehending people that are here illegally and enforcing the laws where people work in these factories illegally, we've got citizens. I had a lady that came to me and was given information where these places are all over the United States. Sheriffs, there's 3,300 sheriffs in the United States. Each county, it's easier to deal with one local law enforcement in each county as it is thousands and thousands of police departments.
Yeah, I believe that, and I'm glad to see a sheriff like that happy that we're going to be taking care of this problem instead of.
I'm glad he's willing to do what it.
Democrat
what the
mayors
country
in
requires.
these blue cities who are refusing and saying that they're going to fight back against this. It's just crazy, John.
Yeah, absolutely, it is crazy, and I mean I think that we've seen enough. Immigration is such a big hot topic right now. They all know what happened. And, now the Biden administration, and that we've been seeing in stories come out that they're counting illegal criminal aliens in the census. And where are all these people? In places like New York and California and all these blue cities where they're taking them in, right? Yeah. Now they're creating chaos. They want the federal government to pay for their mistake of being a sanctuary environment. Then they want to use that advantage, that number advantage, to report on the census so that they can keep House seats. I'll tell you what, in 10 years, when they do the census again, if we deport all of these illegal aliens, we're not going to have a majority of one Republican. We're going to have a majority of like 50 because all the people are leaving California. And if you kick all the illegals out, it's only going to be the crazy people that are left. So, I mean, we're going to have huge majorities. It's going to be a huge difference. And that's another reason they're bringing all these illegals in so that they keep their House seats, so that they have the impact on the census, so that they can convert them into voters, and so that they can get money from the federal government because California has budget deficits like no other state in the world. Yeah. I mean, they have budget deficits that are larger than the entire GDP of a lot of countries. So it's just craziness. And I think that these local sheriffs are going to have a responsibility, and that's going to be one of the things that they're voted on, right? So in 2020, and 2 years from now, The sheriffs that are up for re-election, they're going to have to answer: are you going to be able are you going to do this? Are you going to make our county as safe from illegal immigration, from the impacts of illegal immigration? And that's a huge positive step. They're gonna illegal immigrants are gonna want to stop coming here to create chaos when they come illegally.
God, I hope so, John. I hope so, and I hope that our local sheriff here will follow through, and I think he will. I think he will. Anyway, this lawyer, this ACLU lawyer, transgender lawyer, by the way, says children should be allowed to be castrated, stating that even 2-year-olds know when it's time to transition. This is unbelievable, John. This is that woke mindset that we were talking about. Here it is.
Strangio, Chase, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So the case comes at a time when 26 states have passed laws restricting healthcare treatments for transgender youth, according to a CNN analysis of data from the nonprofit think tank Movement Advancement Project. So how do you plan to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that could have wide-ranging implications beyond the state of Tennessee?
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Wait. Do they have a 13-year-old as a lawyer? Is that a 13-year-old as a lawyer? I mean,
I thought this was just a beta male at first. I honestly did. I looked at this dude, what I thought was a dude, and heard that, I looked at it and I saw, if you look at it earlier, you go back and we look right about here, right? You look at, I'm going to take our window down for a second. You look at the difference in size between Tapper and this Chase Strangio. This is the name that this person gave themselves, Chase Strangio.
That is a miniature person. Yes. And I don't mean like dwarfism or anything like that. I mean, that's like a full miniaturized. I mean, that's got to be, 13, 12 or 13-year-old lawyer.
But that voice hits you, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not a beta male. That's a chick. That's a chick on hormones dressed up like a dude.
Yeah. I think that's Rachel Maddow's gender. Oh my God, a clone. That's Rachel Maddow's. It's either her twin, like from the movie Twins, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. That's her Danny DeVito. That's Rachel Maddow's Danny DeVito right there.
Maddow's bigger than this individual, but I guess let's listen to what this individual has to say. All right, here we go.
Implications beyond the state of Tennessee.
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection point for transgender people across the country. We're coming off of an election season where transgender people played an outside role in people's consciousness in terms of the way in which we were situated as a threat to others. And when we look at the map of states that ban this type of evidence-based healthcare, we went from 0 states that had these bans in 2020 to now more than half the country. So before the court tomorrow, the question is really a simple one as I see it. This is a law that bans medical treatment only when it is prescribed inconsistent with an individual's sex. Our argument is that treats people differently because of their sex, and therefore the court has to treat it like all other forms of sex discrimination, and that's why it's unconstitutional.
So attorneys representing the state of Tennessee told the U.S. Supreme Court, quote, if the government's theory holds, men who identify as women could claim constitutionally based access to women's bathrooms, women's locker rooms, and women's sports. Accepting that theory would perversely erode women's rights and jeopardize landmark statutes protecting women's equal access to schools, winners' podiums, and beyond. What's your response to that?
Well, I obviously disagree with that premise that allowing transgender women into women's sports or women's bathroom is a threat to women, but it is also not the question before the court in this case. And in fact, it is a totally independent question about whether a law that bans medical care for transgender adolescents discriminates against people based on sex versus these separate cases that preceded any of these healthcare bans will continue to be litigated in the courts regardless of the outcome here. So that clearly is conflating a bunch of different questions. The question before the court tomorrow is about whether banning medical care, overriding the consent of parents, the recommendations of doctors is a violation of equal protection.
What do you say to physicians who are sensitive and supportive of trans kids, obviously don't want suicidal ideation, et cetera, but wonder if there is enough data as of now to prove that it is beneficial to allow these sort of treatments before the age of 18?
So I would say three things. And the first is we have decades of both clinical experience and research data showing that this is medical treatment that provides critical benefits to adolescents who need it. And so this is not new. This is not new medication. And so we have that information. We have long-term studies that track people for 5 to 6 years.
She's not lying.
But
we like Nazi experiments is where it came, you know, that's their history. It goes all the way back to crazy Nazi science.
So I mean, and then the second thing I would say
this is chemical castration, essentially.
This medication to adolescents. These are not doctors being forced to provide this medication. These are doctors who are wanting to treat their patients in the best way that they know how, based on the best available evidence to us. And these are young people who may have known since they were 2 years old exactly who they are, who suffered for 6-7 years before they had any relief. And what's happening here, it's not the kids who are consenting to this treatment, it's the parents who are consenting to the treatment. And as a parent, I would say when our children are suffering, we are suffering. And these are parents who love their children, who are listening to the advice of their doctors, of the mainstream medical community, and doing what's right for them.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. You know, this person, this individual, I wonder what happened to this individual that convinced them that they should go around dressing up like a man and pretending to be a man. But Chase Strangio, you still sound like a woman. You're never going to sound like a man. You're never going to be a real man. You're always going to be a woman dressed up as a man, playing a man. You know, John.
But with a mustache.
With a mustache. You never see these female to male transgender people wanting to play in men's sports. It's only the male to female transgenders that want to play in women's sports. Why is that, John? What do you think that is?
I mean, it's pretty clear.
Because they would get mauled. They would get killed. Do you think that might be it? I don't know. I think that might be it. And I don't know why they don't think the opposite would be true. But, you know, that's the strange thinking that goes on in woke mentality, in the woke mind, or like Chase Strangio there.
Yeah, the woke mind virus. It's disgusting. It really is. They're talking about changing the gender of a 2-year-old child permanently and irreparably damaging the reproductive health of a child, male or female, at 2 years old because some crazy ultra-liberal mind-washed parent decides that their child should be a different gender. It's criminal, and it's nothing short of criminal. It's a travesty. It's a tragedy, not just here, everywhere, wherever it exists, and it's going to be gone. And I think that in history, in 50 years, people are going to look back at it and they're going to be shocked that people tolerated this. And those people who did are going to be exposed in history as the monsters they are for damaging these kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, these people, I'm sorry, I keep going on about this individual, but, you know, saying that a 2-year-old knows at 2 years old that they want to transition, that they want to be a girl, that they suffer for years because they can't get the transgender surgeries. That's just crazy. It's just crazy talk. A 2-year-old does not have any clue about the world, who they are, or who they want to be. They don't, even you go up to 10, 11, 12, 13, you still have no clue about the world or who you are or who you want to be.
You don't demand that a teenager pick a career at 2 years old or even at 18 and permanently be affixed to that career. Why would you do it to something as personal as your genitals? Yeah. I mean, it's craziness. You go through puberty. That in and of itself is a transitionary process. And you can't, you're not the same as you are before and after puberty. So you're causing a disruption to that life-altering process already put in place by God, and you're circumventing it. And that's what they are. They're basically creating Frankensteins.
Yes.
And they should be in jail. There's no doubt. That's the only place they belong is in jail. This guy should, I don't know, he should be disbarred But at the same time, I think that the people who practice it, doctors that practice it on anyone under 18, should absolutely be put in jail for experimentation on the human body, on a live test subject, and they should never practice medicine again. Anybody that's ever done this.
And the parents that are pushing
Parents should go to jail.
their kids to get this surgery and get these things done. Those kids should be taken away from those parents, because those parents obviously have a screw loose. I don't care if a doctor or psychiatrist tells them that it's okay. You should know inherently better than that. There is a reason why we have a legal age that you have to reach before you make certain life decisions, whether that is to smoke cigarettes, join the military, or any.
I mean,
there
you
is a
cannot.
reason why we have a legal age.
You can't give alcohol to a minor, even if it's your own minor. But you're going to, so, I mean, unless you're going to have that surgery in the house, how is it any different? If you leave your house, you can't give your kid a beer at the bar.
No.
You can't take your kid to a bar and give him a beer, but you can take him to a doctor's office and inject him full of drugs that will alter his life forever. We're not talking about them being drunk and throwing up. We're talking about life-altering changes. It's absolutely disgusting. It's incredible. It is incredible. It's incredible that this is happening in this country. And the politicians, I said it before, I'll say it again, all of these, whether it doesn't matter if it's an establishment rhino or if it's one of these crazy liberals, they need to be tarred and feathered, put into little rowboats, and pushed into the ocean. I'm going to say that's the only solution at this point. And wherever they land, hopefully it's in Lake Alba or St. Helen or something like that. I don't know. I don't care, but just, or it could be hell, which is where they're going to end up eventually anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, John, so end the show on a good note. This is incredible. We are seeing it live in real time. The transition, no pun intended, of Eric Adams. Eric Adams. We're watching him transition to a conservative Republican. It's unbelievable, John. He's saying now he would love to sit down with Border Czar Tom Homan. Says he doesn't care if the left cancels him. Watch this.
Those who are here committing crimes, robberies, shooting at police officers, raping innocent people, have been a harm to our country. I want to sit down and hear the plan on how we're going to address them. Those are the people I am talking about, and I would love to sit down with the Border Czar and hear his thoughts on how we're going to address those who are harming our citizens.
Open to that.
Open to
hearing what their plan is to deport some of these folks, and you think the city, in some circumstances, should cooperate with ICE.
Let me. You know what's interesting? And I was talking to the team the other day. I want you to all go back and Google Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Google what they said about those who commit crimes in our city and what they said in our country. They said those who commit crimes need to get out right away. That was their position. So this is not a new position, because in the state of in the era of cancel culture, no one's afraid to be honest about the truth. Well, cancel me, because I'm going to protect the people of this city. And if you come into this country, in this city, and think you're going to harm innocent New Yorkers and innocent migrants and asylum seekers, this is not the mayor you want to be in the city under.
Wow.
Good for him. Good for him, right? I mean, that's what we want.
No.
This isn't about party. You have a responsibility. This is what gets me so riled up against these establishment rhinos and these crazy Democrats. They have a responsibility. They swore, right? And that they were going to uphold the Constitution. They know illegal immigration is not protected under the Constitution. So you're going to have an American who's suffering, and you're going to have an illegal alien in a fancy hotel being paid for by tax dollars while you have Americans starving on the street.
Yeah.
Come on. So I mean, I'm glad. I don't think that. I think that I know that you were being facetious, but he's clearly never going to be a conservative Republican.
Right.
But at least he's being a realist. At least he's being honest about the problem. At least he's going out on a limb and sacrificing for his people. And that's what a public servant does. I don't have to agree with him on everything in order to appreciate the fact that he's telling the truth about something.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think
So
you're
good
going to
for him.
see a lot more Democrats like Eric Adams, John. And we talked a little bit about this earlier today. There is a war brewing within the Democrat Party right now. They took such a huge trouncing during this election cycle. They were rejected so soundly by the American people. And many of the old school Democrats recognize this. They realize this. They know that
Yeah, they're
something has to
emboldened
change.
now.
Yes, that something
Yeah.
has to change. And they're at war now with the woke factions of the Democrat Party, trying to change it back. I think after the destruction that they wreaked upon themselves this past election cycle, the actions that they took to get Kamala Harris in there to try and run her against President Trump, but not just those actions, but what they did to Bernie in the past and things like that. These things are coming back to haunt them. I think we're going to see different side of Democrats going forward. We're starting to see it with Nikki Fried here in Florida. We already saw tape of her saying that, talking about the economy, something she didn't talk about the entire time of the 2024 election. She never mentioned the economy once. All she talked about
Nikki
was
Fried.
abortion.
At first, Nikki Fried was like, I have two passions in life. One is killing babies, and the other is switching their genders. Those are my two passions in life. Now she's talking about, listen, the economy is not so great in Florida. Yeah, you're not normal, Nikki. We know you're high, and your policy is also high. You have to be high to appreciate it. So yeah, we're not going to let them get away with it. We got all the receipts for all the time. They talked about what their issues were. Abortion, killing. That's the only thing they care. You think that she was a member of the Khmer Rouge, but that's the only thing that she cared about was either killing babies or killing their genitals. And now she's going to talk about the economy. I agree with you. I think that this is a huge issue where Democrats are now like looking. You have some of them that are being empowered to speak the truth, like Eric Adams. But you have to remember, he's the mayor of New York City. What about the mayor of some other little town that's not maybe New York City? They may not be empowered yet, but they probably have values that are almost normal, right? Yeah. And so those are the people that are going to start fighting back against the party at the state level, saying, come on, do we really have to castrate kids? Yeah. Is that really have to be part of our party? Do we really have to boo God at our national convention? Do we really have to do these things? There's got to be like how about we respect? These are the James
Carvilles of the party. These are the James Carvilles, the Bill Maher's. They're the ones that are pushing back quite a bit. And, James Carville did say that he is friends with Nikki Fried, so it didn't surprise me when she came out and started talking about the economy. But
yes, when he said it's the economy, stupid, he was talking to her apparently. So I just. But the bottom line is that they're how do you go back? Yeah. How do you go back? How do you walk?
It's going to be a tough road. It's going to be a tough road for them.
And this is why Republicans have consolidated so much. And it pisses me off that the Republican Party, are taking credit for this across the country when they had nothing to do with it. It was in spite of you. It was in spite of you fighting for the establishment. It was in spite of you fighting for rhinos. It was in spite of you trying to hold on to power that this happened. Yeah. So you guys, you tried to manage the growth of this grassroots movement. It's never going to go back. We have the same thing here going on in Florida big time, right? Where we have a guy who's probably a little slightly less manly than the guy that we saw advocating for the transgender case at the Supreme Court. But nonetheless, that guy is trying to purge of real Republicans. So what happens is that the Democrats, instead of us, we've ran them from the field. Right. And instead of pursuing the enemy and taking a victory and collapsing their entire force, we give them reprieve. And I think that is their plan, because and this is why Republicans have to stay vigilant, because their plan is to surrender more seats. That's why why aren't they fighting over all these stolen seats that they're taking right now? There were Republican candidates running for the House that were thousands of votes ahead. They end up losing by a dozen. Yeah. How does that happen? And you're not monitoring, you're not discussing, you're not outraged the fact that they're counting votes weeks later and then they win mysteriously? That's what the GOP should be fighting at the state level. Instead, they're fighting against their own members now. Yes. Right? Yep. And so there's
Florida. Yep.
They're in the state of Florida. I don't know if it's happening across the country. Now I'm getting calls from people across the country. I was talking to somebody in North Carolina and people in South Carolina and people throughout the country that are telling me that they have similar things going on in their states. Wow. So, I mean, at what point do we have to start over? Right? At what point this just takes a spirit of leadership that these people just don't have. That's why they're in these leadership positions. You have to be a person whose knees are rug burned down to bone in order to have these jobs. And that's how they built their careers. They didn't build their careers on their spines. They built it on their knees. And that's not the type of people that are going to lead you during battles that actually matter. Those are people that lead you away from the things that matter into the abyss of bullshit. Pardon my French. And that's exactly what we have leading the party here in Florida. Yeah. And by the way, good segue. This is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night when we do our follow-up to the corruption and the stolen election at the local party, Florida party election here in Osceola County. It's happening throughout the state. It's happening throughout the country, but we're going to talk about several cases. We have a lot of guests that are going to come on the show. They're going to talk about their situations in their counties. This is a very important subject. Yeah. This is a very important issue. It's going to determine the future. Listen, Osceola County is a blue county for the most part. It voted for Trump and it didn't vote for anybody else red. Our county GOP ruined the elections. Yeah. They ruined it. They tripped everybody up. It was a complete disaster. And the only person that won was a huge swamp creature, a mindless swamp creature. It's a damn shame. Okay?
Our REC here in Osceola County talks about what they did this election cycle, but everything they did was too little, too late. They did not do enough as far as I'm concerned. We saw many seats that could have been won lost. And meanwhile, they are patting themselves on the back because Rick Scott won and President Trump won. And those are great wins. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but that had nothing to do with our local REC. We watched a travesty of justice happen this past Tuesday at the REC meeting, the REC election, where they prevented many, many members of their group from going into the building, from having to take part in that election or any part of that meeting. The deputies were called in. We had, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. We'll save it for tomorrow. We'll save it for tomorrow.
But the important thing is that it was all based on lies.
Yes.
And the chairman is still lying. Yeah. He's still lying. He's straight up lying, saying that this is about an intellectual property issue. No, it's not an intellectual property issue. This is not about any logo or anything like that. This is about purging people who are not supporting establishment candidates. This is about the FRA endorsing candidates in the primary and hurting the establishment. That's what this is about. That's what the entire thing is about. And so now they want to have tightened control. They don't want people like you or me to think that we can run for seats and win. They want you to know your place. And they want to control who comes and goes. And that's why they elect idiot people like Erica Booth to the House State Legislature who have no minds, who doesn't have the ability to have a synapses between two brain cells. And also, so they do what they're told, and then they burn off the skin on the knees. Yeah. That's who they want. And in order for that to happen and to be safe, they have to get you under control. And we're not going to be under control. Tom and I are not going to go under control. We're going to fight over this, and we're not going to stop fighting until Evan Power has been removed from his seat as the GOP chairman, because he's a dirty scumbag who failed Republicans across the state. He failed people in Osceola County. He failed people all over the place. And he's failing now as GOP chairman, and Bill Helmick. They need to go.
Absolutely.
They need to go. If you attack Republicans and grassroots, and we're not going to stop fighting until you guys are out.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how long they survive. But that's going to be tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow night. We have great guests, so stay with us. You're going to watch it. I think we'll probably. What time are we going to go on tomorrow night? Maybe the same time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll have to make sure that our guests are lined up and see what works for them 100%.
Yeah.
But it will definitely be the latest 9 p.m.
Yeah. So make sure that you.
It'll probably be earlier. We'll probably send something out early tomorrow to let people know exactly what time we'll be going. Yeah, and we're going to make this happen. Mark Cross, shame on you. I gave you too much credit on the last special we did. All that's taken back. We're going after you, guns blazing, my brother. Oh, my God. I still can't get over what happened that night. It's just crazy.
It's crazy. We're going to talk about it. We have footage. We have footage of what happened.
Lots of footage.
Yeah, and so we have a lot of things to say. We have a lot to say on this matter, and we're gonna have guests coming from across the state. So please join us tomorrow night. Like and share the show. Make sure you're following. If you may have been invited to follow, so go all the way to the go check your invites and make sure that you accept the invite to follow the show. So follow the show wherever you're watching, whether it's on Twitter or whatever, so that you get the notification tomorrow when we go on about the show. The most important issue going on in Florida right now, even more important and listen carefully to what I'm saying. I'm very, very careful about this. It's even more important than the insurance issue. And here's why. Because it's going to lead to the resolution of the insurance issue, whether that's for the American people that get the benefit or the lobbyists. This war, the war on insurance, is going to be decided on behalf of one of those two parties. And it's either going to be the Americans who get the benefit of the resolution, or it's going to be the lobbyists who get the benefit of that resolution based on this war inside the Republican Party, which has a supermajority in both houses. Yeah. So make sure you watch that show tomorrow night. Did we have anything else, Tom? That was it, right?
That was it.
That was it. So listen, we love you. We appreciate you. God bless you. Like and follow the show. Make sure you follow tomorrow night when we go on tomorrow night. And we'll see you then. On behalf of me, former school board member John Arguello, my great friend here, and Tom Lord, and all of our unapologetic, patriotic friends, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I was entertained, to be honest.
I think it is rich beyond measure. The fact that a school board member that has tens of millions of dollars of conflict of interest before this board has the courage to come up here and talk about anyone's behavior. If anyone should be ashamed of themselves, sir, it should be you.
And I'm in favor of you being able to speak your mind, no matter what. That's how we get, remember when we were kids, right? And you had a problem with somebody, and then your dad would kick you out to go fight with that kid, and then you shake hands, then you go home, and then you become friends. Disgust when they're trying to, take this word and give it meaning that it doesn't have. Our entire country needs to go through a fasting. You see all of these new age hippies, right? They're constantly fasting. They're doing starvation diets, or they won't eat for this. What is it called? Like some kind of
intermittent fasting. It's not just us, and not just fans of President Trump, MAGA Republicans. We're not the only ones that see